hello, who's ever here? Just us right now, Miss Jan. Wendy Loom, how's it going? Anybody would like to join? I just posted the link. Don't really have anything to talk about. It's cold outside, and I didn't feel like working. And the wife wants me to make a gumbo, so I'm making a gumbo right now for supper, while the temperatures are falling for us over here. So didn't really have a big plan. I was just kind of bored and can't go visit with nobody. So I thought, let's visit right here on Facebook. Oh my God, I don't even be where'd that come from? On YouTube. The Butler Barlow, how's it going? Peanut, what's up, brother? I am growing cucumbers indoors right now, not having tremendous success. We have them in pots. They're not hydroponic. Just ran out of time with it this year to give it a shot, but it is all it's all greenhouse cucumbers that we're growing, all female flowers, so they should work if they're growing. They started out slow. The cool temperatures slowed them down a lot. My house is 5 feet off the ground, and they're sitting on the floor. So we have it. We're actually gonna be planting probably middle of next month. Yeah, exactly. I can't say that word. I'm Cajun. Parthenial carpet pathy. Yeah, that word, that big word. We do grow outside. We use the Dasher 2s, which are also the same thing, Parthenial carpet. And they did great for us last year on a 30-foot row. We're going to have about 200 feet of it outside this year. If we do finish the third greenhouse for the fall, which is looking very much likely, we will be working with a cucumber greenhouse for the fall, possibly. So things are coming along. We're trying different things. We have tomatoes have tomatoes that are ready to go out in the greenhouse. I don't have a greenhouse ready to put them in yet, but that's almost done. If it wouldn't be for the cold temperatures we're going to be seeing the next 9 to 10 days, I'd be planting them out probably in the next week. I have some Hidden Harvest grow lights, and I also have some Lumapool grow lights that I'm using. They're both working well. Peanut, why you never joined the live, brother? Y'all are more than welcome. I'll go ahead and post it again. I know Jan has a camera. Rob, how's it going, Rob? Primal Cajun. Cajun Rob. We've done some updates on the Jason, what's up, brother? You're welcome to join. I just posted the link on the top if you'd like. Anybody that's in there would like to. You're more than welcome to join. I think we can have up to 10 people on here at a time, so it'd be great instead of y'all just listening to me, my old curved ponytail. Lord. I'll be getting up from time to time. Like I said, I have a gumbo on the stove, so I'll be stirring that from time to time, but I am in no hurry to leave today. We have a few hours. You should just click on the link, Peanut, and it'll tell you if the camera's active or not. If you click on the link, it'll bring you to it. It should tell you everything. It'll automatically turn it on. The pro version of what? I'm not paying for StreamYard, so no. I thought that's what it said with the free version. You can have up to 10 people. Maybe not. Maybe 6. I don't know. I forget so much. I'm lucky to remember when to come home. Turn the heat on. Yeah, no joke. We need some heat. Yeah, man, it's cold outside. I woke up this morning at 2. I was outside in the greenhouse. It might be, Jason. You're probably right. I'm wrong a lot. I just don't admit it to my wife. But yeah, there's so much stuff in this little head. Big head, little brain. It's probably 6. But it got cold, man. It was 50 degrees this morning, which normally 50 degrees, I go outside, sleeveless shirt and, my work pants, and I start working. I went outside for about 15 minutes, and my teeth, man, it's like a jackhammer. It was cold. I had to come inside, put on a long sleeve shirt. That wind's blowing about 20, 25 miles an hour right now. But we got the pipes and everything hooked up. I bought some covers. Lettuce works great with the Master Blend formula. You can check out Mr. CB over at CB's Greenhouse and Gardens, or Jeff also at Grow Something with Jeff. Jeff has some experiments going on right now that he's trying out. But yeah, some covers for 10, 20 trees. Most of them use like a 15 to 20 gallon tote to put the net pots in. They do take a bit of solution to grow them out, depending on how many you want to put in at a time, basically. So the net cups probably are kind of big for what you're looking for. You probably could have went with a smaller one. How do you have them started off as? You started them in dirt and you're letting them grow out, or you started them in Oasis cubes, rock wool? But I mean, it'll work. It just, you might, if you use a 10, depending on how much basin you have for your plants to sit in, you might have to end up adding more solution during the growth. Let me turn this lower. Go on the field daily. Yeah, it should. I've never seen anyone do it like that, but I'm sure it's going to work. You're just going to have to monitor your ppms and stuff. Usually when you put it all in, it's a set it and forget it type, what some people do like that. And it seems to work better because you don't have a buildup of the different types of fertilizer that the plants aren't intaking. You want to use your Master Blend, your calcium nitrate, and what's the other one? Epsom salt. The mixture for it. We did, if some of my older videos, you can go back and look. When I was in the country, we had a lettuce run set up similar to, the people from Canada, and it did great. We had some huge lettuce and everything. I had set up a couple greenhouses over here, but they wasn't quite big enough. And with the flooding and stuff we had where it's at, I ended up taking those down and I'm putting in some raised beds right now. But yeah, the lettuce is amazing. You can't beat it. I'll be right back. I'm going to stir. A window light? Are you talking about putting the lettuce on a windowsill for the light, windowsill for the light, or what exactly are you talking about? I've used rock wool in the past. I'm not telling you that it's good or bad. I didn't have any bad experiences with it. I went with the Oasis cubes, which ended up being about half the price. than the rock wool, and you didn't have to neutralize or pH balance them in the water. And I just found the Oasis cubes, you rinse them, you as long as your water's good, you rinse them, then you add a little bit of water and you plant it and you go with them. The rock wool seemed to be a little bit more needy when I was trying to get them started. So, just something you might want to look at it as the Oasis cubes. As far as the light for growing lettuce, you can use a regular shop light. I know a lot of people that do that. As long as it's, the more powerful the light, if you can find something around 6,000 kelvins, you'll be much better off using that. But just a regular old shop light works great for growing it. Yep. I actually bought the LEDs from Amazon. It's a 4-foot LED, and I use some I don't use the brackets. I put some clips on the end of it, and then I heat shrink the seals on the end so it doesn't electrocute anybody. And that's working great. I have that on my tomato plants right now on a grow rack, and it's working real well for the tomatoes and stuff. And they end up costing about $5-6 a bulb. And they last forever. They don't burn any electricity. Excuse me. Seven people, boy. We could talk. Anybody that wants to join, you're more than welcome to join. We can visit like this. Yeah, the shop lights, if you already have the rack and everything set up, that'd be great. The LED bulbs are, Mr. Mark, how's it going, brother? The LED lights are doing good. I did have a comment. We talked about it on the last live stream kind of a little bit. What I'm trying to do is to get some Canadian Proud Get Outdoors. What's up? How's it going? Cool. Thomas Sag. How's it going from Germany? Had some cousins out there for a long time. My aunt and uncle worked on a military base in West Germany. But have some physio. Shouldn't you get too hot? I have them set up about 11 to 12 inches above the plants right now, Mr. Mark, because I'm trying to get my my tomato plants to be a little bit leggy for when I plant them out in the Dutch buckets out in the greenhouse. The ones we're going to be starting, the tomato plants will be starting this week. For the raised beds will be, once they come up, we're going to lower the lights down, or we're going to raise the plants up to where they're closer to the lights to be able to, keep them a little bit more steady. I'm going to put a fan blowing on them to help them strengthen up and shorten down. I'm not sure, Jason, yours are the 4-foot. I'm not sure what mine are, the wattage equivalency is on them. But I ran one off of a 12-volt battery. They have the inverters on them already. If you time in 110 or 12-volt, and they actually work. And I ran it off a 12-volt, small 12-volt car battery for like 6 hours one day just to see how long it would work. But yeah, there's here with Big Beef in the greenhouse. It could be Big Beef and Campari. Possibly trying out a couple other varieties to see how they work out. Microforma. What's up, Mr. Homer? How's it going? Now these are LED 4-foot LED shop lights that I'm talking about, but I'm gonna have to readjust some stuff. Yeah, Big Beef. We have some other ones that Jeff sent me. I don't remember the names offhand that we're gonna be planting out in the out in the raised beds. We still haven't showed the raised beds. We're waiting, probably beginning of next month. Once we get them filled, we're gonna show them. We still have some work to do on them, but we have, I think it's 300 feet of raised beds right now with the trellises set up for the tomatoes, and it's about 3/4 set up for the cucumbers. We have some pipe to bend for the cucumbers because it's going to go from one bed to the next bed rolled over. So it's going to be pretty cool. Hopefully, if it looks half as nice as I'm dreaming it's going to look, it's going to be really cool. And all the tomatoes in the raised bed are going to be single stem. Like I said, we have the pipe set up for the trellis to be able to hang the stuff from. But yeah, I mean, shop lights that'll grow your lettuce well. One thing you want to think about with the lettuce is you want to grow in the hydroponics, you want to grow a leafy lettuce more than a head lettuce, because the head lettuce takes so much longer to work, and they take a lot more space. I think I'm gonna try. If I don't have any seeds, Peanut, but I think I'm gonna give them a shot. Stein's usually sells the mortgage lifters in Broussard in the 6-packs, so I think I'm gonna give those a shot too if I can get them some. Wendy, my favorite lettuce out of it is a butter crunch lettuce. I love the butter crunch lettuce and the way it tastes, and it works really good. Your lettuce also, if you could find the seeds. I do not have a dream list for seeds. I got I actually have a whole freezer, 8 cubic foot freezer that's about half full, 3/4 full of seeds. I save seeds. I try to buy seeds in bulk, and I share seeds with people around here. I share them through the mail and stuff. A lot of lettuce, a lot of cucumbers, stuff like that. But I mean, if it makes a tomato, I want to eat it. This year, we're trying to go with stuff that I know me and my family likes. I love to save seeds. I'm a hoarder when it comes to seeds, but we're trying to and there's a lot, Canadian. There's a lot, you can overbuy a grow light. If you're just starting seeds, you can underbuy it and you can way overbuy. If you're not planning on producing fruit, there's certain colorations in it that you don't need. There's really so much, depending on how long you plan on keeping them under the lights. You can start them up. Got a friend, Mr. Bill at Little White Dory. He starts all his under just regular shop lights, and he uses them until he's able to put them outside. 6, 8, 10 inches tall. He does real good with it. If you're not planning on using them until they fruit, if you're just using them for starts, you can cut back a lot on the expense with it. Let's see. I think I seen. See, we got Mr. Homer in here. Everybody, if you see somebody in the sides, check them out. Everybody that's in here seems like some good people. I need to go check out Wendy Loam. I haven't checked them out. And Canadian Proud, Get Outdoors. Keto with Jess, how's it going? I've been so busy around here. We really haven't got a whole bunch of time to make videos lately. I could easily be doing a video instead of the live stream, but it's like being stuck at home. I was ready to talk to somebody, and this seems like a good way to do it. Red Silo Homestead used regular LED shop lights. Come in a 4-pack last year for seed start. Worked great. Exactly. Pretty cheap. It's even cheaper if you use the butt-in connections like I use, and you crimp them. Lord, I want to show it on YouTube, but I'm so scared somebody gets shocked because they do it the way I do it and don't take the precautions to put the heat shrink on the ends. I just buy the bulbs and the little prongs that stick out the side. You buy the ones that have, you got electricity on one side, and the other side is just dead. And, I'm not telling you to do it. I'm just telling you how I do it. And crimp it on the end, and you put your wire on the other end, crimp it, you leave a pigtail out, you tie it in, and you roll with it. It's $6. Wow. That's amazing. That is amazing. Again, anybody that would like to join, you're more than welcome. I think we can have up to 6 people here at a time. Not planning on going. I'm not set on an hour today. I'm cooking, making a gumbo, so it's gonna be at least 2 hours. I'm not saying I'm gonna be on here the whole time, but as long as we got people, we're gonna visit. We also planning a wedding. My oldest daughter's gonna be getting married. We got a whole bunch of stuff going on. Man, 13 people. Take it easy, Canadian Proud Outdoors. Thank you. Yeah. How about lychee? I've never tried the lychee tomatoes. I'm gonna have to look into those. Are those determinate or indeterminate? I tend to rather grow, except for the paste tomatoes. I tend to like to grow indeterminate. We try to grow the paste tomatoes or salsa tomatoes in the spring. In the fall over here. A short period to where we can have them in and out of the ground before the cold temperatures get us. Indeterminate. Nice. Oh, I'm going to have to write that down. 1 second. Some more. We did pick the broccoli. I think we ended up with, hey, Danny, how's it going? Yep, it's cold outside, Danny. We ain't got much going on right now. It's too cold, so just figured we'd visit while I'm cooking. I'm making a gumbo. Let's see, I gotta find that. Jeff, how's it going? Lychee. Yeah, I wasn't planning on cooking a gumbo, but the queen wanted that, so I was planning on some smothered pork chops, pan-fried pork chops, and my fresh broccoli and stuff we did, and man, it just didn't work out. The queen said this morning she wanted some gumbo, and we hit it. We were able to get that. Yep. Yeah, Peanuts in the house. I think Primal Cage is in the house. We half full of gumbo of Louisiana people right now. Yep. It depends. I like a shrimp, just a regular shrimp gumbo with okra. I'm not a fan of putting okra in other stuff. I do like to smother the okra down with onions and bell peppers and a little bit of tomatoes and store it like that. That way, whenever we eat a rice and gravy or something like that, we put it on the side, kind of like we would beans or something. I enjoy it like that. Sheena doesn't really enjoy it that much, but yeah, I've heard of those, Thomas. 40 and Icky here in Kentucky. Yeah, I've been up since 2:30. Well, I've been outside in the greenhouse since 2:30. I was up at 2:00 this morning working in the greenhouse, and up and drinking coffee. Hey, Gail, how's it going? So we got a lot done before the weather really got bad. My wife's still learning. She's getting better with the rice and gravy. It's been a while. I don't eat it out the jar, Jason. I can't. There's the only thing I've ever eaten that I enjoy that's pickled is beets, and I much rather them sweet pickled. Much rather them. Danny, I knew exactly what you were talking about. A Magnolite pot. If you ain't got a Magnolite pot, you're not Cajun. Grow me something, mister. What's up, brother? Como ça va? We killing some time. Boots and Bounty Homestead. How's it going? Anybody would like to join, you're more than welcome. Like I said, just making some time to chat. If you want to get up here and chat, I will be talking. We're going to be on here for a couple of hours, possibly. As long as we got people, we're going to stay chatting. The the virus stuff, you know, can't go visit. Not a fan of visiting, so I wanted to visit. It's cold outside. We can't do much, so did a live stream, do some visiting. Thanks for stopping by, Danny. You have a great day also. Yep. We can grow me something, mister. We're gonna be cutting the last of the broccoli possibly Sunday. Keto Homestead with Jeff's. Making some time. If you want to get up here, you got to turn your YouTube off.
I got it. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. Hey, I'll be right back. I'm going to go stir the pot. 1 second. You can visit.
Hello, everyone. How are you doing? I seen everybody was online, so I figured I'd jump on. Microfarmer gave me a heads up. Cajun Hydroponics was on, so I just jumped on. I heard gumbo, so I was all there.
Yeah, I'm cooking a gumbo tonight. We do it pretty often. We had some in the freezer, but my wife didn't want to take it out of the freezer. She wanted some fresh gumbo. She likes that when I'm at work. She'll take it out of the freezer and eat.
What all do you put in your gumbo, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, I don't mind. Actually, this one's simple. It's boneless chicken thighs, gizzards, roux, water, onions. I'm not even putting no bell peppers in it this time. My little boy, we got to pick it out with it. So I'm not even putting bell peppers. It's that super easy. I don't know if you ever cooked it before or not, but Rob has Primal Cajun. He has some videos out. He does mostly cooking videos on his, and he has some super easy ways to shows you how to make the roux and the gumbo and everything.
Yeah, I'll have to check his out. I do make gumbo, but it's a keto style gumbo. But I throw, you know, the shrimp and chicken and rabbit and everything. I just throw everything in the pot.
Yeah. We do it. Hold on. Hey Tim, how's it going? I like the seafood. I like the shrimp, crab meat, oysters, crawfish. You know, we throw all kind of stuff in it with the seafood, but with the chicken, I like it minimal with the chicken. I like the chicken. I like to put fresh pork sausage in it when I'm doing the chicken, but it's $5 a pound right now, so I didn't get that.
Yeah, I didn't even hear about gumbo until I was probably about 22 years old. I took a trip, and I actually moved to Lake Charles, Louisiana for about 6 months, and it wasn't for me.
The South? Well, Lake Charles is different. You know, I live, you know, right. It's as center of South Louisiana as you can live. We're like 4 miles from the Gulf of Mexico, and there's a big difference between this area and Lake Charles. You know, there's a big difference. Grow Me Something Mister lives in the New Orleans area, and you know, it's not as big a difference between here and where he lives, but there's also a difference. It's like there's so many different subcomponents of it, and everybody has their own ways of cooking. You go north I-10, they like to put tomatoes in the gumbo. You know, and that's no, we call you a Yankee if you put tomatoes in your gumbo. It's not right.
Yeah, I remember when I was there, there's a family that I got to know and everything. They wanted to take me out to a restaurant. Well, back then I didn't like seafood or anything that came out of water. And they took me to a restaurant and they ordered for me, and they ordered alligator tail. And I was like, oh no. But I didn't want to be disrespectful, you know, so I ate it, but I was like, I can't do this.
Well, my wife's from Ohio, and she kept telling me, I want to try this. I want to try this when we go to Louisiana. I want to try this. I was working in Ohio when I met her. And, you know, when we finally got down here, we just so happened we came down at the right time of year, and they had oysters, fresh oysters. We got a sack of them. We were sitting under the carport and opening them. And she's, I don't want to eat that. Yeah, no, you've been talking about you wanted to try it. You're going to try it. And she wasn't paying attention. I walked around the back of her, I grabbed the ponytail, and when she fussed at me, opened the mouth, I threw the oyster in her mouth, and I made her eat it. And she likes it. She was mad at me, but she likes it.
I bet. Now, what parts of Ohio is she from?
She's from around the Zanesville area.
Okay. I'm about 25, 30 minutes from Zanesville.
I was working in the Steubenville area when I was up there.
Okay. All right.
I went up there for a 6 to 8 week job, stayed 3 years. Right when the oil field started kicking off around 2012.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went up there and just, oh man, the people were mean.
Oh yeah.
They knew I was in the all field, and it's, you know, the area we went, the Steubenville area is a big they had a lot of people that was out of work and they big union and stuff up there, and they were mad because they didn't hire union people to do it. And they're like, well, how many union people y'all have? Well, nobody knows how to do that. I'm up here teaching people to do my job. You know, I'm not up here forever. And it took about a year before people started realizing, you know, why we were up there, and it worked out well.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Grow Me Something Mister said, north of Baton Rouge is also different. You know, the cooking and everything is just, there's so many sub places with it. Root, okra, peppers, whatever meat I can fix.
Hello, everybody. I'm sorry I'm not keeping up on the chat, but whoever's saying hi to me, hello. Thank you for welcoming me.
Gatter. I don't know what that is. Grow something with, hey, Jeff. Grow something with Jeff. Yeah, anybody else that would like to come in too, everybody's welcome.
Did you say the wife was at work or?
My wife?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's at work right now. I have my daughter here with me. They're on 3 days a week. 1 week they have school, and then the next week they go to school for 2 days a week.
Okay.
Digging the fleur-de-lis carpet. Man, I love fleur-de-lis. You wouldn't believe, Grow Me Something Mister, you wouldn't believe how much fleur-de-lis stuff I was able to get when I was in Ohio, between Ohio and Pittsburgh, at the off-brand stores, not like the Big Lots and Ollie's and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They didn't even know what it was. I walked in. They had a lady one night that had a fleur-de-lis on the back of her shirt. I walked up to her, asked if she was from Louisiana. She's like, no, why you say that? Well, you know, you got a fleur-de-lis on your back of your shirt. What's that? The big picture on the back of your shirt. And she got all bitter with me and stuff. And okay, bye. But yeah, the Cajun language, it does. The Cajun language differs. I started with the light switches and everything, but it's hard to find some that's worth putting up. The nice ones end up being plastic with a sticker on top of them, and they don't last long with kids.
Yeah.
That's Grow Me Something Mister, the light switch covers, and it's just so the keto stuff. What's that about? My wife's talked about it, and it's like in one ear and out the other because I like to eat. Wow.
Basically what keto is high fats, like animal fats, moderate protein, and low carbs.
Oh,
so, but a lot of people, like, the big question is like, well, what kind of meats can you eat? And I'm like, meats are unlimited. You can eat any meat whatsoever. And then the carbs and starches, you know, you want to keep low and everything. So that's a big deal because a lot of people like potatoes.
Yep.
And so what I suggest is I just fry up those little round the red radishes. Okay. And they actually, when you fry them, it takes the spiciness out, and it's a lot like potatoes. So if I do a roast or something, I'll just throw those radishes in. But yeah, I mean, it's a lifestyle. Keto is a lifestyle, and it's something you got to get used to, but it's really not that difficult. You're just cutting out your breads and your pastas and stuff.
And you're right. It's never going to happen over here. Oh, man. Tim, if you want to join in, brother, you can. You know, we're just visiting.
Hi, Homestead Aquarius.
Mr. Robert. Mr. Robert, he found him a couple tadpoles the other day in his video. That was funny. My little boy's like, look, Daddy, look. We can catch those in the bayou. I'm like, they probably have them. We're not going to be that lucky, though.
Yeah. I love his little frog.
Yeah, the new one with the you pulled out the little paper out of it last night.
Yeah.
I watched it this morning. Yeah. So you grow gardening stuff also, correct?
Oh yeah. I raise all my own animals for meat, and I butcher them, and I also do my garden. Yeah. Which
y'all still got a ways to go, right, before you start your garden?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know. And that's the thing about YouTube. I keep seeing everybody, talking about their seeds, and some people are starting their seeds already. And I'm like, oh, I have so long to go. And you get like to itching. You want to start your own seeds when you see everybody else. And I'm just thinking in the back of my head, don't do it. Don't do it. They'll all die before.
Hey, Miss Crystal, how you doing? We came down the beginning of January one time after the first of the year and visited, and they had the tomatoes and everything at the first year I was in Ohio, and they had the tomatoes and everything at the local nursery. So picked up like 50 tomato plants and drug them all the way back with me to Ohio. Every one of them died.
Oh,
I still had 3 months left before it was time to even come close to planting anything.
Yeah, this past year, like my tomatoes did the best that I've ever grown, and I went like crazy on starting tomatoes. I started tomatoes in the house. I don't have a greenhouse, so I just started them in the house under grow light.
Yep.
And I put 3 seeds in each pot, the little plastic pots you get.
Yep.
And I put 3 seeds in each one. I ended up with I think it was 76 tomato plants. And I was like, oh, wow, I'm planting them. I planted them all. They all thrive. So I had so many tomatoes. I was canning tomatoes like most of my season. I'm like, man, what did I do?
It's nice when you have a season like that. Then the next season, you end up not having a whole bunch. Or this year, I went offshore in the end of January, and I stayed through July. Basically, I was home for 11 nights and 3 days in that whole time. And wow. Sheena took care of the raised beds. We'd only put 3 small raised beds. We used to be at the property, and we do about 3/4 of an acre garden, and I had a greenhouse over there. And when the baby was born, I was spending too much time at the property. So we put in one of the greenhouses over here, which the town didn't let us set up the whole greenhouse because it's secondhand and there's no wind rating on it. So I had to break it up into 3 to be under 500 square feet. So we have that right now, and then we put the raised beds in the backyard. We got, I think it's big. We got a lot. We got a section in the back that we're going to be planting out in corn, a little 20 by 20 section. We're going to plant real, intense planting real close together.
Yeah.
But Sheena did great taking care of all the tomatoes. Is the best year we've had tomatoes in a long time, especially we had like 16 plants, and we ate all we could off of them. It really was a great year.
I have a question. Like a while back, it's been a while, but you had a really bad storm there, and the water was like really high.
Oh, yeah.
Did your raised beds survive that, or did you have to redo them?
The ones in the front yard, I had one that moved a little bit because I don't have them staked in the ground. The ones in the front of the house, they wasn't staked in the ground. The water came up and it kind of moved, but I didn't lose any of the compost that was in them, anything like that. They worked great. We didn't have anything planted in it at the time, so we didn't lose anything. We've moved where we had the cucumbers last year and zucchini. We moved the chicken coop right there on the side so that we're able to add it was basically a wasted space where it was. So we moved the chicken coop to the front, and we were able to get more things in that way, but it also gave us a lot more room in the backyard. Where the chicken coop was in the backyard, that's going to be the open space for the corn. Then after the corn is done, we're going to pull it up, and we're going to plant the beans and stuff right there. How's it going, Mr. Mark?
Pretty good. Is there feedback? Is there an echo or any feedback? Oh, that's good. Good. Let me turn the sound up a little bit. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm driving. Let's see if I can flip the camera around. Let's see. I don't know if I know how to do that, so I'm going to not do it. Some good subjects going on today, man. You're talking about lights and gumbo and keto and growing food and raising tomatoes.
The shed wars topic without the shed wars.
Oh, yeah. It's coming. It's coming. Robert is supposed to put out a video today, and he is changing what Shed Wars is going. He's got some kind of big change coming. I can't wait to see what he's come up with.
I'm looking forward to it. The last live stream I did a couple of days ago, I was messing with Lil Johnny about not letting us be able to pick. We're picking our fall vegetables that are just coming in right now. We put up well over 10 gallons of processed broccoli this weekend, and a good probably 15, 20 pounds of broccoli. We still have more out there. We're going to be, and he's like, well, we got to have a cutoff date. And I was like, man, I'm just messing with you to mess with you. I'll rather pick tomatoes. Basically we're going to be picking tomatoes almost the whole season for down here. So it's, I can have broccoli that I make one picking off of and get 10 pounds off of it, or I can have tomatoes that we end up with a lot more off of it.
How many tomato plants are you going to grow this year, do you think? And I guess in my mind, I'm wondering, how many are you going to grow hydroponically? How many are you going to grow? Would you discuss that a little bit, or have you?
Let me tell Bill and Val, hey y'all, how's it going? And Mr. CB, what's up, brother? I'm shooting for around 300 plants. I think that's probably overkill as far as the space I have to plant it, but I want to make sure I have at least that many. I won't have any issues getting rid of it. We're looking at 74 buckets in the greenhouse, which is going to have 74 tomato plants in them. They're going to be.
You're setting up what, Dutch buckets?
Yeah, Dutch buckets. I actually just finished this morning with the fill lines and everything. I finished putting them in this morning and ran the pump. I do better getting up early in the morning. I've been waking up around 2:00, so about 2:30 I go out in the greenhouse and I've been working on it. And then about 5:30 my wife gets up, and 6:00 the kids start getting up, so I got to come back in the house with them, and I kind of mess around with that. But yeah, it's coming together. I was planning on planting them out this week before I started back my rotation for work, but it's looking like the next 14 to 18 days we're going to have a couple days that drop below 30 degrees. Not a whole bunch. We have 4 out of the next 10 days that we're looking below 30 degrees. It's only to be for a couple hours a night. We're going to be right at 29, 30 degrees. But it's not bad.
That's why I'm headed home. We've got a major storm coming up here that's getting ready to blanket the whole north with snow, and there's not a whole lot to do. And so I'm going to go ahead and slide home. We got all that crap going on with the politics, and you got snow going on, and work's kind of slow. And so I'm going to slide down to the house and spend a few days, maybe a couple of weeks at the house, and just hang out, trying to get stuff ready for shed wars, trying to get stuff ready for the spring. I think it's cool. I was talking to Homestead Aquarius, and I was talking to Willie Grove the other night on the phone, and Robert and I have talked, Homestead Aquarius and I have talked about, how you're on the road and you're working rotation, and so your lovely bride, your queen, is helping you with your stuff, and I'm sort of in that same situation with this new job. Is I'm gone a lot, and a week or two at a time, and so Miss Woodcutter's got to help me as well, and it's cool to see somebody else growing like that, and it's going to be interesting to see what we're able to do this year.
Right now, hey, I know a while back you had commented about a greenhouse. That there's programs through the NRCS. It's a government program, and there's programs through the NRCS that you're able to apply for. It usually takes between a year to 18 months to get approved, but they basically, you have to purchase the greenhouse up front. Once it's set up, they go out, they inspect it, and then they give you a check for the greenhouse. They give you a certain amount for it. Most of the time, it'll cover the whole portion of the greenhouse unless you add in extras, or a high tunnel. They can't call it a greenhouse because there's certain rules you can't have. You can't have heaters in it, and it's to extend your growing period. But after 4 years, it becomes yours. It's basically, they can't go take it from you, but they possibly could. Or they could, if you quit growing in it, there's a whole bunch of things. I'd actually got approved for one of them right before I left the property, and I ended up having to turn it down. It's
what is that program in? I want to say
it's the NRC. I'll go ahead and send you an email with it. But it's the NRCS agent in your local county. It's through the Ag Commission or something like that. Just look up NRCS for your county, NRCS county representative. And right now is probably a good time because they usually start giving them out. You'd probably be far enough ahead in the process for next year. You'll have everything taken care of. There's different things. I know that they wanted to see that you're growing. One of the main things is they want to make sure that the area that you're going to be using is an area that you're actually growing on. What I did, I had some muscadines there, and they were perfectly fine. Well, you're growing something right there. And I told them, you know, in the middle of the season, I plant tomatoes in the middle of the rows because the muscadines are like 10 feet apart. And I was going to take out the muscadines and move them. And they were perfectly fine with it. Then they took pictures of the greenhouse I had set up over there already. They were just amazed. It really turned out. Yeah, Mr. CB, they don't support hydroponics. At first, you couldn't even have raised beds in it. It had to be flat ground. You know, you couldn't have fixed raised beds. You can hill them up all you wanted. They actually had changed that. You were able to have up to 10-inch sides on your raised beds for it. There's a lot of do's and don'ts with it. If you're going to run water drip, they like for you to have drip irrigation system, you know, in it to help conserve water when you're using it. But they also want you have to have, I think it's 5 gallons a minute of running water on the property, you know, close enough for it to be able to be used to the in the greenhouse. But that's been about 4 years now since I turned it down, so it's probably changed a little bit more. But there's Facebook groups you can look at that have it, that'll help walk you through it, some of the questions, and there's a whole bunch of, you know.
Is there a budget? Like, is there a max that they'll pay? Like, let's say that I wanted to buy a glass greenhouse, right? But
I'm not going to say they won't do it, a glass greenhouse. They give you so much a square foot. And the square footage in Louisiana was actually more than the square footage in Texas that they were giving out. You know, it's not the same. Every state's not the same. Just like the irrigation systems was less in Louisiana, what they gave per square foot for the irrigation than what it was in another place.
Okay. Great information. I just wanted to pop up for a bit. I got a long day ahead of me. I'm going to drop off here. Danny, good to see you. Keto with Jess. Stay breezy, baby. Stay breezy. It's good to see you, lady.
Have a good day, brother.
That was a whole bunch of information I just learned everything about.
And it's stuff I never talk about because I never really, you know, think about it. It popped in my head. He had sent me an email, or he'd asked me on one of the he commented on one of the videos I had put when I was working in my greenhouse about it. And he, you know, we kind of went back and forth. We've emailed, and I forgot about it. I told him I would email, and I completely forgot about it. I need to go ahead and, you know, get him a little bit better information on it. But yeah, you contact your NRCS agent locally at your local ag office.
Yeah.
And it's a process to get. There's normally a lot of people. Sometimes it takes 2 to 3 years to be able to get it, and you have to reapply every year.
Yeah. But, see, I just grow to be self-sufficient for myself.
They're fine with that.
Really?
They're fine with that. They are. The best thing to do is tell them I'm growing mostly for myself and family. You know, and if I have any extras, I'll possibly sell it or give away. You know, it's not something that you have to set up to give away to farmers, you know, to sell at farmers markets or anything like that. And you don't have to buy a 30 by 150 foot. Well, I think there's a maximum on the lengths that, you know, on the square footage you can have, but you don't have to even get, you know, the maximum size of it. Okay. It's all according to what you're using it for and stuff like that, and depending on how much money they have available for it. And I didn't even know if they were still doing it, but one of my stepdad's, one of Pop's cousins, actually, he's getting one this year. He's getting another greenhouse. It's going to be his second one he gets from the NRCS.
That's awesome. See, and I just assumed when you were talking about it, it was more for like people that were doing farmers market or a business off their property or something.
No, I mean, people do use it for that. I used to follow one person on Facebook. I'm off of Facebook now, except for the, you know, the Cajun hydroponics thing. But on my personal Facebook, I used to follow, there was a Facebook group, And that's what the guy does. He was on his 4th NRCS greenhouse in 8 years. And he actually used it for farmers markets and everything. And then it's there's no set usage for it. They're giving it out to help stabilize, not really stabilize, but they're doing that instead of having to ship groceries all over the place. They think that it's cheaper to do that, and you get healthier food. Especially if you grow it for yourself, you know what you have on them, or what you have in them, what you're growing in. So it does. I mean, I've known 5 or 6 different people, and on a greenhouse that's 30 by 50, even, that's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to have 70 something buckets in my greenhouse. It's hydroponics, so I should end up with a little bit more than you would in a growing in the dirt. But even at 10 pounds with 70 plants in there, that's 700 pounds of tomatoes at 10 pounds of plant. That should really be reachable.
Now, I have a question. Why do you grow in raised beds and not in the ground?
Well, last year I like the raised beds because they're easier to maintain as far as the grass. I do use different types of vinegar to spray around it to kill the grass, and also from time to time I end up having to use Roundup to get it out the way, just on the edges of the stuff. We have grass over here that even if you weed eat it down to the dirt, the roots still grow out, and then the root will make a bulb at the end, and it sends up another shoot. So what I do is I'll dig down about a ½ inch all the way around the raised beds and keep that weed eated out so that the grass doesn't grow up underneath the beds. Because you can have 10 inches of soil on the top of it. If the grass, the grass over here is getting sunlight, is going to send a bulb, and eventually it's going to put grass up in it. And once that grass gets in a raised bed, it's a mess.
Yeah. I was just curious because on our land, I do about ½ acre of a garden, and we flood out every spring. We have a creek and a spring that run at the backside of the property, and it floods like it comes up to my thighs. That's how high it floods out. But every year that soil is so dark, it's almost black. It's so rich. Yep. And I don't know if it's because it's flooding out and stirring up the minerals in the ground or what, but
it's probably hadn't been used for years, so you have plenty of organic matter still in it.
I've been growing in the same spot for 10 years. Oh,
you have, and it's still dark?
Yep.
Does it go up when it rains, or it still kind of stays pliable? See, we have dark soil over here. It's called blackjack. If it's dry, and if you hit it right, it tills and plows great. But once the water gets in it, it's like it's a soupy mess or it's a concrete block.
Yeah, mine pretty much stays. It's like a powder.
That's awesome. That's great that you have something like that, especially in Ohio.
Yeah,
you get where they get all the strip mining and stuff.
Yeah, and that's the only thing I can think of. It's the flood every year that we get.
Adds extra minerals. The creeks up there are beautiful. It's not like around here with the bayous and the coulees we have that's always muddy. The creeks up there where I was at, I just sit down and watch the creek sometime. In between locations, I had creeks, and it's just like it's clear water with the gravels and everything underneath. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So let's see. Let's tell some people hi 1 second. 10 Can Gardener, how's it going? Eric, what's up, brother? Shannon Wadley. Raven Moon Gardens, how's it going? I sub to you on Instagram. Grows peppers. That's pretty. I like looking at peppers. I'm not a fan of hot peppers.
I'm gonna have to check out some of these people. There's people in here I've never seen before.
There's a lot of great people. Raven Moon's on Instagram more than YouTube. I called him. He was on the live stream last time. Visited with him a little bit. As far as in the, I gotta go stir the gumbo. Thanks, Rob.
I have to write some names down so I can remember who to look up.
Back to the raised beds. What we did this year, we're able to get composted sugarcane pulp, which is potash, I think it's called, or people call it that. And I took the dirt off the top where the raised beds are, the 3 raised beds in the front, took all the top 3 inches off, and then we built 2x6s around the edges, filled it with compost, and we grew in that. The issue we have over here, especially during the summertime, is it's either dead dry, a drought, or we end up with a lot of rain coming in off of the Gulf, and it soaks everything. And when it soaks everything, it either rains so much it kills the plants, or the tomatoes blow up because there's too much water in it.
Yeah.
So last year we planted in just a 100% compost, and like I said earlier, that was the best year that we've had growing tomatoes or anything. Tomatoes, peppers, everything we grew in it did great.
Wow.
And the reason we did that was it was a trial, but we have all the water we want, pretty much around here. We have as much water as we need, and it's easier to water the garden or the raised beds as opposed to taking the water out of the raised beds. So that's why the raised beds I put it in the backyard are going to be 10 inches tall. And, we're going to be growing the same thing. We're going to fill them up with compost and with the sugarcane compost and try it like that, see how it goes.
You've got a question. Can you share your gumbo recipe by getting clean on the prairies?
Yep, Primal Cajun. Jeff, see if you can. Wait, I might have it. One sec. I'm gonna step off. I'm still on the screen, but I'm stepping off. I'm gonna look up Rob's.
Okay.
Let me get his link for his channel so I can.
Where are you at in Louisiana?
I'm south of Lafayette, Louisiana. About 20 miles south of Lafayette, Louisiana. If you look up the Vermilion Bay in Louisiana, that's basically 3 miles north of the Vermilion Bay, 2.5 miles. Oh, Jeff got it too.
Oh.
We got 2 different links. I might not have the right one. East Texas. East Texas, that's Lake Charles. We give that to Texas, Lake Charles. But yeah, so that's the reason we did the raised beds like we did. And I like single stemming them. The tomatoes and stuff seem to get larger tomatoes, have less issues with the blight and the viruses and everything with them.
Hi, Simply Jan Homestead.
Rob, Peanuts in Bro Bridge. He's almost a Yankee like you.
And you said you were growing corn. You've grown corn before, or is this
I've grown it once before at the property. And the issue I had then, we had to pick it early because my schedule prevented me from, it needed to wait probably another week to 8 days, but I was leaving for 2 weeks on a 2-week job. So I wasn't able, we picked it. It was still good. It was super sweet. Just the kernels wasn't full.
Oh.
It was a Silver King corn I had picked up, and that's what we're going to be growing again. So Pafford Homestead, how's it going? Oh, getting clean on the prairies. But yeah, we're going to be doing it probably when the corn's going to be spaced 6 inches apart in the rows, and the rows are going to be about 12 to 14 inches apart. It's going to be real intense to see how it works, and we're going to go from there for next year, or possibly we might end up running try to do another run of it in the fall.
Yeah, this year we grow corn every year, and we are pretty successful with corn. But I want to try the Three Sisters method this year, and see how that goes. I've never tried it before, but I've done a lot of research and seen other people do it, and I've never done it, so I want to see how it works for us.
It seems they grow some beautiful corn in Ohio. I mean, the area I was working in, like around Steubenville and stuff, was not in Steubenville, but on the outskirts of it, in the outer areas between the towns we would go to. It was amazing how much corn they had and how much it grew. They don't grow much of it around here because of the raccoons and stuff. And I'm hoping I don't have issues with it here.
Yeah.
But also they started early in hoping that we don't get a cold front, because the bugs and the humidity and everything, have a lot of issues with it. If you can get it in the ground middle of February, end of February, what they normally do is you plant your corn. When you pull your corn out, you'd either be putting your beans in a hot weather bean, like a snake, rattlesnake beans or yard long beans. You'd put something like that enjoys it, or you'd be planting your okra. Your ground temperatures have to be like 72, 73 degrees for your okra to really take off.
I've never tried okra. I've never grown it or anything. So
it's amazing. One of the places we will eat, when I was in Ohio, we worked at a location, and they had a restaurant, the Dove restaurant. We'd go eat over there, and I asked them if they could order the fried okra, and they ordered it, and they put it out on the menu, and they had a problem keeping it. As the people would try it, they just loved it. It was really good. But you can't beat fresh okra. Making fried okra with it, or pickled okra, or anything like that. You pickle it just like you do a cucumber. You don't cut it, but you pick them small, about 2 inches long, and you pick them like that. And they're amazing.
Yeah, I'll have to try okra this year. Simply Jan says, I can't imagine not growing okra. I've just never had it. It's never been offered to me. I don't know. It's just not a staple.
It's good. I mean, it takes, it's an acquired taste kind of, I guess. Some people taste it and they don't like it. I'd much rather it smothered down. We take it and we put it in a big pot. You start out with a 15-gallon pot and end up with 2 gallons after it's cooked down.
Oh, wow.
It breaks down a lot, but that's how I like it.
What would you compare the taste to?
It depends what you season it with. That if you fry it, you're going to have some of the okra taste, but when you smother it down, you're going to end up with the onions and the bell peppers and everything. It's more of, you don't really taste a whole bunch of the okra, especially if you use a lot of seasonal in it. Or, I like Nunu seasoning, Tony Satchery. We got hundreds of different kinds of seasonings down here.
Yeah.
And it is. It's really good to eat off the plant. One thing to know about okra, though, when you start cooking it, it's going to make some slime. Even if you boil it, it's going to make some slime on the top of the water. It looks nasty at first. It looks like Slimer pass. When you smother it down, you cut it up in a whole bunch of little pieces. It looks like Slimer from Ghostbusters. It just makes a lot of slime.
Okay. All right, Arkansas woodcutter, I'll do that.
Yep. So.
Yeah, in Ohio, you were talking about the corn here, how beautiful it is. I think there's like the big time farmers, the only thing that they grow here in Ohio is like corn and soybeans, and they just rotate every year.
I didn't see any soybeans where I was at. It was always corn, but they were going to feed corn.
Yeah, it's all feed corn around me, and like I said, they switch it up to soybean, but lots of corn.
We don't see anything like that. Yep, I was in the same areas. What you were working in the oil field up there, Shannon? Jan, you can actually add a little bit of vinegar while you're cooking it down. If you add vinegar to your water, or if you're smothering it down, you add a tablespoon of vinegar at a time for your okra. When you're smothering it down, it's gone like that. The slime's gone.
Ew, right. CB's greenhouse. That's gross.
That's an oyster, Mr. CB. Oh, Dan came in. I didn't. Dan, I'm sorry. You still here? Dan, what's up, brother? I think I missed you.
An American ginseng.
Yeah, they do have a lot of ginseng up there.
Yeah.
Shoot. When you were up there, Shannon, might have bumped into you and didn't even realize it. I was working up there for Hess. I stayed up there for 3 years, from 2012 to about the middle of 15. Sand hauling. Yep. I didn't have much to do. I was on the production end. I wasn't on the hydraulic, the fracking. I wasn't up on that. Good to hear, Dan. You got some cold weather coming your way too, right, brother? Yeah, the okra is amazing. I mean, you can use it so many different ways, but you put vinegar. When you smother it down, I like to use the Rotel tomatoes. They have a little bit of vinegar in it also, so it helps cut out a lot of the slime from the beginning with it.
Okay. I'm kind of scared now with all the slime talk.
It goes away. It's just initially when you're cooking it. It doesn't have.
Oh, okay.
Well, if you go to the store, if you make a gumbo and you go to the store and you buy buy the okra out the bag and you just dump it in there, you're going to end up with a little bit of slime on the top of the gumbo because it's cooking. But again, you put a tablespoon of vinegar on the top of it before you start eating, and most of it goes away. It only makes the slime when it's heated.
Oh, okay.
You can cook the slime out of it also. It just takes a while. Yep. Rob got a video on that too, cooking gumbo.
Who's Rob?
Primal Cajun. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Hydroponics, the setting up of it can be time consuming. That's what I'm doing right now in the greenhouses. It's been time consuming, more along the lines because I'm, I basically have between 7 o'clock in the morning and 2:30 in the afternoon when the kids get home, especially when the little dude gets home at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. There's no more working. So it's been taking me a while, and thinking through the process. I have ideas of how I want to do it. When I get started with it, it takes a little bit longer because I end up changing things around. But once it's set up, the maintenance in it's really going to be pruning your tomatoes and cleaning the buckets in between seasons. Mr. CB has CB's greenhouse. He has a whole bunch of videos of the cleaning the buckets, the building the buckets. He has a whole bunch of videos about stuff like that. I haven't even been doing videos on the build because I'm trying to get the 2 greenhouses. I have 3 of them I'm going to have eventually, but I'm trying to get the 2 of them ready for the fall. So I haven't, besides a couple updates of what it looks like after I did things, that's all I've been doing. But it's super simple. You can leave it, depending on your reservoir size, you can leave it for days at a time without having issues. I've gone week, at one point my hitch was I'd work 7 days on rotation, then I was off for 7 days, and nobody would touch it while I was gone, and I didn't have hardly any issues. So, yeah. Rob, you picking up all kind of people today. Going to have all kind of views on your channel. It's cold outside. Everybody want to learn how to make gumbo. And you can get the roux. If Rob has a video on how to make it, you can buy the roux also. And Amazon actually sells it.
Yeah, I wrote his channel name down so I can look it up when I get off of here.
Yeah, I mean, it's super cheap to make. It's like, depending on how much you want to make, a cup of flour and a cup of cooking oil, and you brown it down. Rob goes through all that in different videos he has. But it's super easy to scoop it out the container and make it. Yep. Actually, the hydroponics, I like the hydroponics because it's really easy for my wife to maintain. I have the solution, not the solution, but the master blend formulas are pre-bagged when I'm gone, if she ends up needing more, and we mix 250 gallons at a time. And this one's actually going to have a self-equalizing valve in it to where it's going to, when it needs water, it's going to taste it. It's going to take it.
Primal Cajun, no, I don't eat flour on keto, but I do like Anthem gum as a thickener. I'll use almond flour and things like that. So I do have other things that I can use in substitute of flour.
Yep. Like Peanut says, if you're going to make it yourself, be prepared for the burnt smell.
What, the okra?
No, the roux. If you're going to make a homemade roux, you heat it up. All you're doing is really you're making a thick powdery substance to thicken up your gumbo. Your gumbo is basically a soup with the roux in it to make it thicker.
Okay.
So roux, burnt flour, and oil. Exactly. Let me go stir the pot one more time.
Yeah, when I make a keto roux, I just use the Anthem gum and butter. That's what I do.
The cracking method's good also. I've never really tried it. There's Mr. CB and Jeff, and there's a lot of other people that do it on YouTube. I knew what you were talking about, man. I've never really tried it. I like the Dutch bucket system. It just, especially with the tomatoes, I just like the way it works better.
See, and I have no idea about anything about hydroponics at all.
I started doing it because it was easier. My Pop was helping me in the greenhouse and everything, and it was a lot easier for him to go out there and check to make sure the tank was full and the reservoir was full, and again have all the stuff pre-mixed for him just to throw it in the tank and fill the tank back up and circulate it. So I mean, in fact, he's still using the old greenhouse I had at the property. He's still growing in it.
What are you throwing in the water? Is it minerals?
It's a master blend. It's a chemical fertilizer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a regular chemical fertilizer. Not regular, it's not say specific, but it's a tomato blend formula with calcium nitrate and Epsom salt.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's one of those things. I'm not a huge fan of using fertilizers, but if I'm putting it in, I know exactly how much I put in. We don't use, we try to use as much organic pesticides as we can. We were on a spraying rotation last year, once a week, Nemol. The next week it would be BT, and we did great with it till just about July. We sprayed chemical poison one time, and we were able to make it through the whole season with the organic besides that one time. We just had a real bad uptick in the bugs, and it's not something I like to do, but producing the food, my little boy will eat 4 cucumbers a day. Just with the family, I got 2 older daughters. They both one's got a boyfriend, and the other one's got a fiance now, and we share a lot of stuff with people around here also. So it's kind of hard to produce in Louisiana. It's really hard to produce organic, to have anything that looks nice and get any quality off of it, and to have any production really off of it. It ends up being really hard to try to be 100% organic.
Yeah.
The hydroponics is pretty easy. Once you get it set up, and Mr. CB can tell you, he knows almost daily if he goes into his greenhouse to top off and he has to add pH up or pH down. He knows exactly how much to put. It's like he has town water that he's using. So every time he tops off this, he knows almost exactly how much he needs to put. It's basically repeat. After it's done, once you figure out, as long as your water pH and the minerals and stuff in it doesn't change, it's super easy. Super easy.
I guess that's one thing to add to the list to learn about.
It's a lot of people on here is talking about prepping and stuff right now. It's not something you want to learn if you get in a situation that you got to prep, because you won't be able to get the fertilizer at that point.
That's true.
But it's still it's something good to have, to be able to produce extra food for your family or something along those lines. That's why I'm still growing in the raised beds. If something happens and we're not able to get the fertilizer, I'm still going to be producing plenty out there.
Yeah.
It's not a big thing, but yeah, it's fun. It's really cool. And the only reason I started the YouTube channel is because I was 42 years old when my little boy was born, my youngest kid. And I'm not in the best health. I'm not in shape, unless Ron is shape. But if something would happen to me, he'd have been able to go back and look and say, hey, my dad was doing this a long time ago.
Yeah.
Cool back then. So that's why I started the YouTube channel. It wasn't to make any money off of it. It wasn't to, you know, try to get I was so pumped up when I had 25 subscribers. It was,
yeah.
You know, I've still never said, hey, like and subscribe. You know, if you watch it, you watch it. If not, you know, I don't have subs and I have friends on here. That's the easiest thing because I don't like going places. I don't like being around a lot of people, but I like talking and visit with a lot of people from all over the world.
You're right.
Mr. CB could probably answer that better. That it's not really a lower pH. There's certain pHs depending on what you're growing. And I don't remember offhand. I'd have to look. I forget a lot. Yeah, you can add nitrogen by peeing in it. I'm not a fan of that. All right.
Well, Cajun Hydroponics, I might have to hop off here.
All right.
But I want to thank you for letting me be on your panel and great for the conversation. That was awesome. I learned a lot here and I hope to see you around some more. We
will. Thank you. Thank you for stopping by. It was great.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye. All right. Anybody else? I forgot to post that we were talking so much. Anybody that would like to join, y'all are more than welcome. I just posted the link again. But yeah, Shannon, Mr. CB can. I just posted it, Mr. CB. We are, there's different pHs you'd want to run. They're all pretty similar, but there's ideal points that you'd want to have for your, for different types of plants you're running. Like I said, I don't remember exactly offhand what they are. I have it wrote down in the book in a couple pages that I got off of Mr. CB's videos. Oh my, I hope they're doing good, Peanut. Hope nothing happened. Damn. But yeah, everybody that asks how hard it is to my bad. Everybody that's asking how hard it is to cook a gumbo, I'm cooking a gumbo right now. And I was on it 15 minutes before I got on here is all it took prepping to be able to get the gumbo started. I'll be right back. I'm going to go stir it again before Rob fusses me. My bad, Mr. CB. So, yeah, but that's how hard it is to do a gumbo. It's basically sitting and waiting. You cook it and cook it. I'm at about an hour and 20, 25 minutes in with the gizzards. And about another 15 minutes, I will be adding the chicken in. And probably 30 minutes after that, we'll be done with the cooking. It's going to sit and wait till 5, 6 o'clock tonight for us to eat it. Oh, man. Somebody want to visit? Come on up. Eric, how's the temperatures in your neck of the woods? You should be getting pretty cool over there, huh? Oh, my grow pot that I'm going to be using I might be able to try that for my grow pot for Shed Wars. I got a special grow pot. I might be able to try that for my grow pot. Turn up, mute your YouTube on the background. The YouTube link itself, Mr. CB. Cold, huh? You got it, Mr. CB.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
You see who's over there?
My friend. She ain't threw nothing at you yet, though.
Huh?
I said she ain't threw nothing at you yet. You said she's always throwing stuff at you. Oh man,
What's going on?
killing some time, man. Killing some time.
That ain't the best camera. It's the one that I got laying around the shop here. And what the hell? Let's try. Well, can I see
Nothing
it?
wrong with it.
I figured I'd turn it on and see if we couldn't get this thing to work.
Nothing wrong with it at all. Yeah. What's Renee doing back yonder? Can you read the chat, Mr. CB?
Yeah, I got it on over.
Okay. Craving boudin. Man, boudin sounds good. We've been making some boudin, some pork sausage and stuff very soon, in the next month or so.
They want to know what you're doing over there.
Nothing, playing games.
I was getting ready to say playing Candy Crush.
Farmville's gone.
Oh, I didn't even know Farmville had gone off. Oh, Mr. CB, bro, I'm so pumped up. Man, I can't wait. It's getting close. It's getting close. I got 8 buckets left to paint. Then I'm going to start drilling the holes.
You got about 44 to paint over here at mine and get drilled and fixed up.
That's just for one greenhouse. If it was going to start raining, I couldn't paint. And then I got those 8, there's the 3-gallon buckets. And then I still have all the 5-gallon buckets to paint.
I ain't even started. I ain't even got them pipes hung yet.
I was so excited this morning when I turned it on. I know we had been talking about the amount of water that the pump had. It didn't seem like it was going to be enough. When I plugged it in this morning, after I'd put all the top hats and stuff in and the water come up about a foot, I was high-fiving the wall. I was excited. Then I put the hoses on them, and it backed it off a little bit more, so I opened the bypass on it. It works perfect. And I'm surprised it's actually putting out almost the exact same amount of water. I took the 4-gallon bucket, and I did a 30-second test on it to see how much water it was putting, and it's putting about a gallon in 30 seconds. It's probably still a little bit more than what I need, I'm pretty sure. But it's steady, going down the row. And from row to row, it's pretty close at 30 seconds having that much water in them.
Would you say you had 44 buckets in that run right there?
In that greenhouse?
Yeah, for that one pump.
It'd be 74 buckets.
For that one pump?
For the one pump, yeah. It's
Wow.
a 2,500 gallon an hour pump.
How many?
2,500 an hour. That's a hard break. That's max. That's if you're at 0 head pressure. And
yeah, I asked you yesterday about what the head pressure was.
Yeah, I looked on the paperwork and stuff. I ended up I forgot, and I didn't go on. I'm gonna have to go online and download the book. It doesn't have it on the paperwork that came with the pump. But
I'm anxious to see how that 1,400 gallons is going to handle it. Like we was talking about, it's going to be running at least 40 buckets. But my question will be, I won't know until I drop a tank. I'm thinking about just dropping the tank on top of the ground, fill it up, throw the pump in there, and run a line on it to see how bad it will suck the tank down. Because that's only a 30, I believe that one's a 34-gallon tank I've got. So,
yeah.
Originally I thought about dropping a 55-gallon barrel in the ground, but that's going to be hard to dig that through that rock.
Then you end up with an extra 2.5 feet of head pressure. You got to buck also.
Right.
So that lowers the amount of volume you're going to be moving.
Right.
I like the 80-gallon from it's right at 90 gallons from Tractor Supply, the horse trough. That's what we use at the property in the greenhouse over there, and it worked great. With the
Dan, I know. His biggest goal is to whoop me hands down this year.
Wait, who said what?
I don't be reading over. Just pay attention to what
No, I'm not out to beat nobody. I'm just excited. I mean, it's been in the last 2 years we've had 16 plants. I'm excited. I know I'm overplanting in the raised beds and everything, but I was talking to Pop. He says the big pump that we were using over there was a 1,200 gallon an hour pump, and we did run off. We had 48 buckets we were running off of it, and we ended up swapping them out and putting one on each side. One of it's too much, and one of them's not quite enough for the buckets all the way on the end. If we piped it in different, it might work better. We just come straight up and then it runs the length of the runs. If we'd have come up and, maybe put the flow into two separate spots instead of directly in the middle, maybe put it like a third of the way each way, and it might have worked better. But the way we had it set up, it just wasn't quite enough for the buckets on the end. So
what size tank was that barrel that you put in the ground, your swimming pool?
The one over here or the one in the property?
The one you're going to use right now that you got?
Right now it's 185 gallons.
And that was heavy duty rubber made. Was that a rubber?
It's a rubber. It's a thick, they're about 3/4 of an inch thick. And it's 180 gallons.
Was that a pond tote that you got?
It was a water trough.
What?
A water trough, horse trough.
Horse trough. Okay.
Yeah. But they make a smaller one that they have the fiberglass one, the hard fiber plastic, I think it's called. That's what we were using at the property. And that one's, I think, 85 or 95 gallons. And then they also have a smaller version like I have, which isn't quite as sturdy. I think it's 115 gallons. The next size smaller than the one I have now. It's a little bit, it's cheaper.
Some of them rubber ones type things that they had up at Tractor Supply, but I didn't look at it real good. But I figured it had something to do with a water trough or something.
Yeah, and that's probably the same thing that I'm using. What you were looking at. What we did, I dug it all out, big enough to fit in. I framed it out with 2x6s to where I could put my plywood on the top of it to be able to walk and put all my drains and everything in it. And then I filled it clear to the top with water. And I left it like that for 2 days to make sure it didn't leak, because they have a valve connection on the side that you can put, or it comes with the plug. Then after it stayed, the water didn't go down. I actually ended up leaving it for 2 weeks. I left and did my rotation at work. And then when I came back, I left it filled with water, and I took the dirt and I started putting the dirt in around it, smaller chunks. And I'd put, 3 or 4 shovelfuls in, then I'd water it down, and 3 or 4 shovelfuls in, and I'd water it down. And I came up about 3/4 of the way up on the sides with it, just to make sure that, I didn't want the sides to expand and contract in it. So I was watering it down, and it seems to be working good. I pumped it out the other day and left it overnight with no water in it, and it didn't bow itself back in.
But when you get them floods over there, how close is that water going to get to the tank?
The floods we've had the last 3 years, I'm still 18 inches from getting close to getting in the tank. It's going to have to come up over the side of the greenhouse and go into it.
But over all the years you've been there, it's never got that high.
I don't think we got close one time I think it was in 16. I wasn't home when it happened. I was actually stuck offshore because of the storm. I couldn't come in. And we had 26 or 28 inches of water in the garage, which is about 10 inches more than we've had the last couple of years. We've only had 6 or 8 inches the last couple of years, 10 inches one time. And, that still gives me, quite a bit of free bar from it. I'm not saying it couldn't happen, but it's going to be, it has to be really, yeah. I'm going to have to, if a storm's coming in like that, I'm going to have to take the plastic off the greenhouse, bring the buckets in the garage, tie everything up.
Has the water ever made it to the pavement, to the road out there?
No, the water's never been to the pavement in the last 30 years for sure. And I'm about 3 inches below the pavement where I'm at. It hadn't even come close to getting to the pavement. Sheena was here for the storm that happened in 16, and there's a drain in the front where I'm still 10 inches taller than where the drain's at, 8 to 10 inches. And she said the water was right there at the drain for that storm where we had the 20-something inches in the garage, 30, whatever it was, 20 or 30 inches. We got a mark somewhere in there.
I read somebody was having a tornado.
Yeah, Peanut's sons had a tornado pass through them in Texas.
Right now?
Yeah, last night.
Wow. I'm trying to keep up with some of the chat there. Hey,
Yeah,
Mike
I
Farmer.
talking, I completely forget about it. But
That's why I told Renee we've never done a live for our channel yet, but if I do one, it'll be in the summertime where I could set everything up, be in the greenhouse like I did with Mike that time.
right.
But can you? The question to be is trying to keep up with questions as people asking going through the greenhouse. I don't think this thing will allow us to run two separate microphones, will it?
If you use StreamYard, you can use two separate phones. You know, you can use a laptop or you can use a phone, like I'm using StreamYard right now, and you do it the same way. You click on the link, and you just log on, and you can have, you know, you holding the phone with the microphone from the phone, and Miss Renee holding the phone with the microphone on that phone. One person could be reading the comments, and the other one could be, you know, showing and talking. You know, there's a whole bunch of different. You can have the computer, a laptop, walking around outside with a laptop, using a laptop with it, and reading, or not really walking around with it, but you can have someone reading the comments off of the laptop.
Well, that's what she'll have to be doing.
Yeah. Well, you know, in fact, you're going to have a lot. You're going to have a laptop, or you're going to need your computer in the house online with it, because you have to go through StreamYard. You have to use a computer.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna set the laptop up out like maybe on the edge of the door or whatever. I got a 100-foot Ethernet cable that I can run into the house and plug into. It'd be hardwired because I tried to do it off of wireless when Mike had me in on one of his lives, and it
just don't work. Yeah,
it was terrible, but it was absolutely terrible.
I mean,
I tried all the stuff, and then I just never set anything up to try to get one done last year. Ain't nobody want to see my junk anyway, bro. My little dinky plants.
Yeah, dinky plants. I hope I get half the plant growth you do. Oh, I'd be so happy.
Your one greenhouse is gonna have more than all three of my greenhouses put together in it.
That don't mean I'm gonna have the same production out of them you have.
Oh yeah.
We are. I do have the 3 totes. We're gonna do it similar to what we had out at the property. And I was visiting with Pop, and I asked him if he ever checks his pH. He's like, man, this is Pop, man. No, bro. You know I don't have one of them pH thing meters, so I have to get him a pH meter. And I think that could be part of the issue we were having at the property. Also, for one, we never changed the solution out. You know, we never pumped it out, washed the tank. You know, I know you do it regularly, like a 3 to 4 week period. You normally, depending on how much solution you use, in 3 to 4 weeks, you try to pull it and clean it and start from scratch. We never did that. We'd fill the 250 tank up, and you know, we'd always check the pH when we put it into the tank, but never checked the pH in the tank. So that could have been part of the issue we were having. You know, the pH was getting all out of whack from in the tank because we constantly took from here, put over there. You know, like you see all the time, you get the excess nutrients that the plants aren't using. You know, it continues to build up in your tank and everything. So there's a lot of stuff that I'm going to be able to try different over here to hope to have better, you know, success than what I had. Granted, you know, what we had at the property, we ate all we could off of it and still had enough, you know, to be able to sell a little bit off of it.
Right.
But I want to get it like Mr. CB got it and make it the big old tomatoes and the big old peppers. I'm excited.
So every 30 days, I change that tank out. And who was it? Wendy or somebody was on a while ago talking about, did they put their nutrients out on their outside garden? Well, I've been showing that for years. No nutrients are wasted. When my tanks get pumped out, that goes out to the straw bale garden.
Actually, in my first, the number 1 greenhouse, I actually have it set up to where I can pump out of my tank. Like when I want to drain the tank to refresh it, I set it up to where I can pump straight out.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And I got a hose. I'm going to put a valve with a hose connection on the end of it. And it can either go to the south side or the north side. I got it on each side. I didn't do it on the second one because I didn't want to dig up it. It made a lot of mess digging it and doing it like I did on the first one. It's a lot easier just to run a hose. But
yeah, them little pumps that I'm running, there ain't no way it had pressure to even make it to the first bale out there if he run out.
I don't even know if it's going to make it because I didn't put any shutoff valves. So even when it's pushing it out that way, it's still going to want to be pushing it.
Oh, hey, stranger.
I got a customer, so I'm going to go.
All right. Talk to you later. Thank you, Mr. TV. So, man. Let's see. Anybody else want to join? Y'all are more than welcome. We're just killing time and visiting with friends today. Whew. I'm almost tired of talking. I've had a good time. Yep. Peanut, the great flood of 16. I was stuck offshore for it, brother. Sheena had the baby was, I think, 2.5 months old. It was tough. I told her to go to the property. She didn't want. She stayed home. She had never been through anything like that. And Lord, she ended up with she couldn't get out of the house for almost 4 days in her car. That's what I'm planning on doing with it, Eric. Planning on throwing the extra nutrients. I'm gonna pump it out to the corn. I found an old sump pump that they were throwing away when I was working in Ohio. It's got the bottom suction on it, and it runs a hose. It runs off the hose. You plug it in, dude. You talk about it sucked that 180-gallon tank down in about 15 minutes. Pretty neat, especially for free. Cool. I forgot I had that. Picked up a lot of stuff out of the trash over there they were throwing that was still in really good shape. Yeah, it all floods and drains here right through my backyard and in my yard, Mr. Robert. Oh. It's called Louisiana. That's no doubt. South Louisiana. South Louisiana. The issue we have over here is the parish doesn't have enough money to clean the drains and everything. And Lafayette's directly north of us, and everything from Lafayette drains straight through us. And Lafayette's basically cement blacktop now. So the water has no place for it to drain once it's over there. So it gets into the rivers and everything. It starts coming this way. Then it gets over here. They get all their you got it. They clean out all their drains and their bayous and everything. They do good with it. So it pushes this way and then it backs up here at my house. It's pretty amazing. Wow. In 16, Peanut, y'all stayed flooded for 19 days? I know we had water in the yard for 9 days over here. It took about 6 or 7 before Sheena was able to walk off the steps without stepping in any water. Joke. Oh, it's nothing. It's nothing. So, well, I think we're going to go ahead and shut this down. I need to throw the chicken in the pot, and it looks like it warmed up a little bit outside. It's not going to be for long, but I'm going to go slap some paint on the buckets. I sure thank y'all, everybody that joined in, Keto with Homestead with Jess, and Mr. Mark, Arkansas Wood, Kelder, Mr. CB, thank y'all so much. I had a great time. Great talking to people. Thank y'all. Everybody that was in the chat, I hope y'all enjoyed it. Hope to see y'all next time. It don't end up in Louisiana, Eric. It ends up in my yard. But no, actually, the flood water from Indiana actually come down through the Mississippi River. That's a little bit to the east of us that it floods. We do have some issues with the flooding over here. If it comes down too fast or the water comes up too fast in the Mississippi, they have to open up floodgates, and then eventually it works up. It works its way over here. But all right. Come on over, Miss Jan. We're going to have plenty. You can sit and visit with my older daughter and the family. We always got plenty. I always make enough to put at least a gallon left in the freezer. So it's going to be great. So I'm gonna go ahead and get off on here, and y'all remember South Louisiana, boy, you gotta love it. Y'all grow that later. Oh.